I found these funny food pictures that I'd share with you, but basically they really haven't found a type of food that increases your sex drive. So these are just some funny pictures that are kind of shaped like sexual objects that I thought you'd get a kick out of. You gotta love it, right? All right, well, let's talk about maybe some real aphrodisiacs since we're talking about sexual arousal. So we learned that your brain is the primary erogenous zone. This is where your arousal comes from, and then we learned about testosterone, and we learned that exercise can increase testosterone. So, according to research, there is no food that is a true aphrodisiac. So, we're going to be looking at drugs in this kind of section and see how drugs might affect our sex drive. But I'm going to keep going back to it all comes down to the brain and the circuitry. Can you stimulate the circuitry of the person to inspire their sex drive? So Spanish fly is, I think I forgot to go over this with Marquis de Sade, is actually what he got imprisoned for was giving prostitutes too much Spanish fly, and they died from it because Spanish fly is actually a type of poison. So they use it in wart medicine. So it's cathanridin. I'm not sure if I'm saying that completely correct, so let me try one more time a different way. Cathanridin. And what it does is it's used for wart removal, and so they used to put this they used this for sexual arousal because what it would do is when it would go into your system, it would create a burning sensation down in your genitals. And so, like, if we're constantly reminded of our genitals, it may inspire, the desire for sex, because a lot of times we're not thinking about our genitals, but if they're burning, then we would want to kind of rub them on someone else, maybe. We're constantly thinking about them, so that's what Spanish fly is for. If you go into the sex shops, you'll see the Spanish fly. Usually on the outside of the box, it doesn't say what is in there, but I'm gonna guess that it's something that makes you a little warm down there, that focus your attention down there. I don't think it has this active ingredient of the original Spanish fly. It comes from a beetle. So amyl nitrate, you can buy this like on Amazon. I've seen it on there, and this is kind of like an old school thing. They're called poppers. It's a very quick flash, and what it does is it dilates the blood vessels in the brain and genitals, but it's extremely fast, and some people use this kind of for a sex play. I believe it's a little bit more common in the homosexual community. Okay, let's talk about Viagra. So Viagra does not fuel desire. Viagra doesn't stimulate the brain, and that's where your that's where your sexual arousal originates from. But what it does is it increases blood flow to the penis. So as men age, they decrease in this hormone that traps the blood inside of the penis. And so what Viagra does, it actually helps this hormone to actually keep the blood trapped into the penis. So the person would still need to get an erection, but this would help them maintain their erection, because that seems to be something that men have a hard time with as they get older. So when you see Cialis, I feel like Cialis tries to run commercials that it makes their penis larger, I guess. You can look at it that way, like, oh, okay, when he gets erect, it gets larger, but it doesn't influence the size of the penis at all, but they seem to market to that. We're going to watch a couple of scientific videos on Viagra to help you understand a little bit more, but let's see what else we have here. Haha. Okay. So before I stop this video, I want to do a little bit more here. So drugs that facilitate the action of dopamine in the brain are known to increase sexual desire. And we'll find out that most addicting drugs will somehow work on dopamine, and we're going to look at some of the illegal drugs, or not illegal drugs, but recreational drugs, and how they affect. And most recreational drugs do work on the dopamine system. But so one major side effect of antidepressant drugs, very, very major side effect, is that a lot of the SSRIs, the ones that work on serotonin, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, is they seem to take away your sex drive, and they use many times they have a detrimental effect on your sexual functioning. So people tell me sometimes, Amy, I wish there was a heartbreak pill. Well, there is a heartbreak pill. An antidepressant makes you kind of not care about being with people that much, and the heartbreak that you feel from the breakup of a relationship can be helped by an antidepressant. And in fact, a side effect of some of the drugs that work on serotonin is heart problems. So if you are in a relationship with somebody that takes antidepressant drugs, they may have a change in their feelings towards you, and this might be something that you have to understand, or they might have sexual difficulty. So people who experience a lot of sexual difficulty with regard to their sexuality, sometimes they're given this drug called Wellbutrin, which is also used as an antidepressant. And these two drugs, L-Dopa is prescribed a lot of times for Parkinson's patients. If you watched it, it's a really old movie, but you might want to check it out. It's Robert De Niro and Robert Williams. They were in this movie called Awakenings, and they were giving the older people this L-Dopa, and you'll see that they became very sexual. Their muscles were not as stiff using. So these two drugs are known to increase sexual desire. And then we learned, of course, that the best natural aphrodisiac is exercise. Okay, so a study on 2,000 male health professionals revealed that men who exercise vigorously for approximately 20 to 30 minutes a day were half as likely to have erectile dysfunction. Yay! As a man's waist size increases, so do his chances of erectile dysfunction. A University of Texas at Austin found that exercise in the presence of a sexual stimulus appeared to have a kind of priming effect by increasing blood flow to the vagina. So we'll take a look at that video right now.